Hi everyone, welcome to Mediocre Money, and this is your money questions answered. This is my YouTube series where I take questions about your personal finances from you, the viewers watching at home, and I break down your financial situation and give you the best answers that I possibly can. Today's question comes from Tyler from Winnipeg. And Tyler asks, I just lost my job and my company laid off half of its workforce due to the COVID-19 crash. What can I do now? Well, Tyler, I just want to start off by saying I'm really sorry to hear that you lost your job. You know, this is some pretty tough times that we're going through. It's very unprecedented, the amount of job loss that there has been, especially even comparing to the financial crash of 2008, 2009. And in the past 2 weeks, there has been in the US, I think just over 3 million people that have filed for employment insurance. And in Canada, the number is almost at 2 million people now that have filed for employment insurance in Canada. So this is definitely an unprecedented time. Lots of people are losing their jobs, Tyler, and I just want to say I'm very sorry. You're obviously concerned about your family and your financial impact of what this means for you, and so that's what we're going to cover today. However, it's not all bad news, because when adversity hits us, there also tends to be a lot of opportunity that is created out of that adversity. So there's kind of two parts to this answer in this question. And the first part is, what are you doing for cash now? Because obviously, Tyler, you're gonna still have to pay for your housing, whether you're renting or your mortgage, your utilities, your transportation, your food. You still need money to cover these essential costs. What I like to preach is to have as much diversified income as possible. I've actually lost my job before too, Tyler, and by having diversified income streams, it ends up making losing your job or say having renters go out, it makes that financial impact a lot less on your life. When I lost my job, it was obviously devastating, it really is. But I also had renters that were actually paying for the mortgage, basically, essentially paying for the mortgage that I lived in. So I was actually able to continue living at a lot reduced cost because I had diversified income streams. But if you don't have that, that's okay. Most people don't. All right, so let's go over how you can cover those necessary costs that you have. So your housing, your utilities, etc. And the first thing you gotta do is you gotta cut back all your non-essential spending. And you gotta cut it back dramatically. This is a financial emergency. This is why you should have an emergency fund. So that means no more buying chocolate, no more buying alcohol, no more eating out, no more takeout. And I also want you to go through your credit card statement and find every single subscription that you are subscribed to. You would be surprised at how much money has been going into these subscription packages that we either have forgotten that we have or have just piled onto our life and blended in with our everyday consumerism. When I lost my job, I was able to find $80 a month in subscriptions that I cut off right away. So whatever subscriptions you find, whether it's your NBA package, the NBA isn't even on right now, cancel that, your DAZN sports package, your Netflix account, I don't care what you have to cancel these subscriptions. One of my friends actually found out that he was paying for a National Geographic and was paying $15 a month for it for the past 7 years. And the National Geographic magazines have been going to his old address that he doesn't even live in. So he's been paying for 7 years for someone to get free National Geographic magazines. Make sure this isn't you. And lastly, stay the heck away from Amazon. Honestly, whoever has access to your credit card or your Amazon Prime account, cancel your Amazon Prime account to cancel so that way you don't renew it. But make sure that no one has access to your Amazon account and that you stop all your online spending. I know this is tough for a lot of people, so feel free to also go into your browser and actually block the websites that you like to shop from the most, specifically Amazon, obviously. And next, let's look at reducing your necessary costs. So those costs that I talked about that we need to cover, your housing, transportation, utilities, food, etc., we can actually find many ways to reduce these costs. If you have 2 cars, consider selling one. Maybe you have a really expensive lease and talk to your dealership and see if they would negotiate some sort of trade-in or buy-in deal where you can actually switch cars out and get a newer, cheaper lease. And also learn how to walk and bike more. Walking and biking is completely free and it's really healthy for you. And when it comes to food, stop buying smoked salmon, no more donuts, and even try staying away from meat in general. Meat is very expensive and not that calorie dense. And meat is what caused the entire COVID-19 crash in the first place. When it comes to food, buying in bulk in things like pasta and rice and creating stir fries and pasta dishes, these carb heavy dishes are gonna be your best friend for trying to save money on your food. So your house, if you're renting, luckily with the COVID-19 crash, there's been a lot of negotiations. And so call up your landlord and see if they could either reduce payments or potentially postpone payments even. You'd be surprised at how many companies are willing to negotiate with you. Because at the end of the day, you're also their customer and they want to keep you around and they want to keep you paying. And if that requires a little bit of flexibility on their end, they're usually happy to do so. A really good idea is to try to rent out, maybe you can rent out your parking space. Maybe you can rent out a room. Maybe you can even list your couch on Airbnb. People list couches for rent on Airbnb. Now, mind you, not a lot of people are moving and using rooms and stuff right now, but you might be able to find a long-term renter if you own your house and have spare bedrooms. Now, I usually don't like to preach about all these drastic savings. However, in the case of losing your job, and I'm assuming that you don't have many other income sources, this is a financial emergency and you don't have an option here. You have to make all these significant cutbacks in your life. And even when it comes to utilities, I know a lot of utility companies have already claimed and offered discounts to people because of the unique circumstances around this pandemic crash. So call yours up, explain to them the situation, and they're usually very happy to work with you, not against you. Now, cutting back your costs is good, but you still have to make money, obviously. So apply for an employment insurance. And some countries right now, due to the unique circumstances with the pandemic, are even offering health-related emergency funding for people who have lost their jobs. So make sure you apply for all of these services because that's free money out there specifically for you. Try picking up a part-time job at a grocery store or even delivering pizza. There's a lot of Uber Eats going on right now and I'm sure that they are desperate for drivers. Or even something like bartending, but obviously that's not really an option right now. But if it wasn't a global health crisis, bartending is usually a great opportunity to get part-time cash. And a big thing is to go and sell all your stuff. Most of us own way too many possessions and things that we haven't used in the past year. Go through your house and find that longboard you bought but never actually ride and go sell it. Sell it on Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, wherever the local source is for you. And also try listing services on marketplaces such as Fiverr. Especially with the economic downturn right now, there's a lot of people that are looking for help editing their resumes. Can you do that? I'm sure you probably can. Edit a family or friend's resume for free and use that as an example and then go try to get more clients doing that. Okay, so you've done all this, you've cut back your non-essential spending, you've reduced your essential spending, and you're now making a little bit of money part-time. So hopefully you got some breathing room now. So we can take a breath and we can relax. Because now here's the fun part. So this is part 2, which focuses on you and your career, but more importantly, your future career. And this is where your biggest opportunity lies. Now, ideally, we want to own capital that produces enough income for us that we're not reliant on a job. And most of that comes in the form of owning rental properties, owning a lot of stock investments, or dividend funds, or potentially you own an online course or website that's producing income for you. Now, ideally, we want to have so much invested in these capital expenditures that it can produce enough money for us to survive off of. However, most people are not there yet. And that's kind of what I was referring to before when I was talking about creating diversified income streams. But that's more of a future goal. For now, we also need to figure out where you're going to get the money to buy those capital investments. Now, you could obviously go back and get a job. That's the obvious answer. But perhaps you've been wanting to change industries or change companies. Now that you have some breathing room, it's a perfect time and opportunity for you to go online and get more certifications, do some LinkedIn networking and call people, ask them how they got to their position where they are or where you want to be, and figure out what you need to get yourself there. Networking is the single best reason why people get jobs. So make sure you really up your LinkedIn networking game in that new industry that you want to be in. Or now might be a good time to start your own business or consider starting your own business. By starting your own business, I don't mean going and inventing the next Snapchat. Usually these are extreme big goals that don't really happen. I want you, if you are starting your own business, to focus on something that is tangible and that produces monthly cash inflow for you. Maybe you're an electrician. Maybe you can start your own yoga studio. When starting your first business, really focus on creating a real business that is going to generate cash flow. However, a word of caution, because starting your own business requires a lot of variety and skill set. So maybe you're a really good electrician, or maybe you're a really good yoga student. However, you don't know how to do the finances, or you don't know how to hire, or you don't know how to find a studio to rent. There's a lot more skills that are involved with starting your own business, and it's not right for everyone. So really think about it critically and interview entrepreneurs that do own their own business and ask them what it took to make their business and see if you have what it takes. And the last option is to develop a high income skill. And this is probably my favorite option. Now that could be copywriting, or it could be search engine optimization, or it could be coding, or even teaching a very specialized subject matter. If you can really become the expert and the go-to person in a field like one of those, you will discover that there's an endless amount of opportunities for you to get high-paying customers, clients, or businesses to pay you for your services. Now, I'm curious, I want to hear from you. What are some high-income skills that you've heard of? Let me know in the comments down below. If you're watching this video, I've been trying to figure out how to grow my subscribers, and it's my goal this year to go from my 60 subscribers that I have now up to 10,000 subscribers. And I'm not exactly sure how to get that. I've been asking people to subscribe, and that works a little bit. I have obviously 60 subscribers. So I'm trying to figure out what I can say to help people subscribe. When you do subscribe to my videos, you just occasionally see more of me, which if you like seeing more of me, I'd really appreciate it if you did subscribe. But ultimately, subscribing doesn't change your YouTube experience that much. I used to be really hesitant about subscribing to channels, but now I subscribe to lots of people's channels that I enjoy their content. If you enjoyed my content, or if you'd like to help me reach my 10,000 subscribers for this year, I would really appreciate clicking the subscribe button down below. So that's it for this question answered. Tyler, I wish you all the best, and I wish you, everyone else who's watching this video, all the best if you've lost your job. It is a tough and stressful time, and I hope that you will succeed. I know you can. Things always work out in the end. Peace out.